Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be talking about how to craft a very good cold email for your graduate school application. Are you trying to apply for a master's, a PhD, or postgraduate fully funded scholarship, and the school requires that you have a supervisor or a faculty member to have accepted to work with your supervisor before you submit your application? How do you go about it? All you need to do is to go to the department website of the school where you are interested in applying to. Go to the school website and search for professors that has a research projects that align, in which research project aligns with your research interest. So you have to check them, and when you found one, you also need to go to their personal websites. Most of these faculty members or professors, they have their personal websites. The reason why you have to go to their personal website is for you to check their current email. At times the email do change, so you'll be so sure that the email you found on the school website is the same with what they have on their personal website. So, and you also need to pick their name, the correct name. So you send them email. And how do you structure your email? This is very, very important. Your email must not be too long. It must be very short and succinct, and it must be very, very cool an email that when they open, the professor would be willing to read and reply you. So the very first thing I would advise is that keep your email so short. I would recommend you make your mail a 3 paragraphs email, very short an email, and detailed. The first thing you have to do is to start your email with greetings, and you have to greet this. Your salutation. You have to do that with the last name of the professor. Please don't be generic. You've searched the websites of the school and the personal website of the professor in which you love to work with. So you start by saying, "Dear Dr. Jane," or "Dear Professor James." Don't avoid the use of "Dear Professor," "Dear Professor," or "Dear," no, stop being generic. And if you are being generic, it only shows that you are not thorough in your search, and that turns off most of these faculty members. And you are coming for a graduate school program, and from the point of contact, you cannot show that you have a research competency, and that will not good for you. It's one of those things that turns off professors, and they would not even go further to read your email. So what should be your first paragraph? The first paragraph is for you to introduce yourself. You have to introduce yourself in the very first paragraph, and you can start with things like, I found your name on the school website, and I was particularly interested in your research projects where you made use of waste materials for the manufacture of additive components. In my undergraduate research, I made use of composite materials for the manufacture of fillers for 3D manufacturing. And now I am really ready to go into the manufacture of additive components made with the use of plant waste. You are trying to connect, in this paragraph, you are trying to connect the professor's projects with your areas of research. And you can also add to this very paragraph by saying, I also found some of your work where you made use of so and so, and I'm particularly interested in those projects. And now I believe with my background, I will make a very good fit for your research project. If you look at this very first paragraph, it is very, very short. You have made it to be all about the professor, and at the same time you are connecting yourself with your research experience and your research past with what he does, and how you can be of interest, how you would be of interest to his current project. So you've mentioned the past work he has done, what interested you, and the present work he's doing, and how you could be a good fit for the very work. So the second paragraph, you should just come here and introduce yourself. How do you introduce yourself? Is just for you to tell the professor about your school, your research competency, or your research experience, the ones you've carried out, and tell him your grade and some other things. You can, in this paragraph, you can make it something like, I just graduated with my BSc from so and so university in Nigeria, in Ghana, or in China, or as the case may be. My research focus was on the use of so and so, and in my thesis, I was able to publish 2 papers in 2 reputable journals in the US, in Canada, or in Nigeria, as the case may be. And having said that, you can also go further by showcasing your research competency by saying the journal X was a leading journal in so and so country, and the paper published underwent 3 rounds of peer reviews. With this, the professor will know that no, you understand the research language, and you understand the challenges and how to go about publications and the like, which are some of the strengths that is required from a graduate school applicant. Then that same paragraph, you can also add by telling the professor the CGPA. Your CGPA, I graduated with a CGPA of 4.92 on a scale of 4, and I've also completed my master's. That is, if you have, and you state the program, the research areas where you completed your master's, and state your CGPA. Then there are some other things you may also do here. You can try as much as possible to talk briefly about your school. Your university is a top-rated institution in Ghana, in Nigeria, in China, as the case may be. You can even tell us here, or tell the professor here, the ranking of your institution. It helps a whole lot. Then in your last paragraph, you can just end this by saying things like, I am contacting you about the possibility of a master's or a PhD position in your lab come fall or spring 2024, and I kindly request for a possibility of a Skype or Zoom interview to discuss further. Then you can end it here with something like, yours sincerely, or best regards, and you put your full name, your first name and your last name. Please don't be so much in a haste to press the send button. You have to read very well. Read with your pair of eyes, another pair of eyes. Read for errors, read for structural deficiencies. I will recommend you leave this email and come back in hours or maybe a day after to review your email. This is very, very important. You can also try as much as possible to use Grammarly. Yeah, we have free version of Grammarly online that you can use to correct for basic errors. And before you send your email, I will advise that you attach your transcripts and your academic CV along with this email. Thank you. If you find this video so useful and informative, please click the like button and share. Please continue to share. Thank you.